It's Mr. Tolley. We are going to be doing a thing on the staff today. So the staff is, of course, made up of 5 lines with 4 spaces in between. We're going to be drawing that on the screen. So if you think about it like this, you have 5 horizontal lines, which you can represent with your fingers. If you hold your hand like this with your thumb up on top, you'll see 5 lines, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then those 4 spaces in between each of those. So I'm going to be drawing along with you guys on the screen here. So you need a piece of paper and you need a pen. So I'm going to start just by drawing my 5 lines. I'm going to draw 1 line and on from there. They don't have to look perfect. That one's a little bad, so I'm going to redo that one entirely. Notice that I'm leaving a good amount of space in between each of my lines just to be safe. And there we go. My 5 lines. This is my musical staff. My 5 lines, and when we do this, we always count from the bottom up. So this is line number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so once you have your 5 lines and your 4 spaces, you've made the musical staff. And now the next thing we gotta do is we gotta decide which staff this is. Now we're gonna be working in something called treble clef today. So the treble clef tells us what each of these lines and spaces mean. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump onto here and I'm gonna find this second line, and that's where I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna draw a little curve around that second line like that. And then I'm gonna keep going, follow my curve all the way up to the top of the screen. At that top line, I'm going to curve back around, and then I'm going to come straight down. And that's treble clef. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just needs to be there. So what the treble clef tells me is it tells me what all of these different lines and spaces are called. Now the treble clef has a nickname, which is the G clef. And since it's called the G clef, I know that this second line right here has to be the letter G. So since I know that this is the G line, I'm just going to go over to the side here and I'm just going to make the letter G. Now in the musical alphabet, we only have a total of 7 letters, just 7 total letters. And so we can write that down below. And I'm going to do that just as a little reference for myself. So that's A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now, once I go through here, now piano has 88 keys, which means I gotta have more than 7 total letters. So what I do is when I get to G, I just go back and I start over again at A. And then when I'm done with A, if I'm going the other way, I would go from A back to G. So going up from A, I would go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Going backwards, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. G, F, E, D, C, B, A. So hopefully that makes sense. So now that I know that, I can fill out the rest of my screen here. And what I'm going to encourage you to do right now is pause this video. I'm going to fill it in myself, and I will say the letters as I go. But take a second to pause the video and try and do it by yourself first, and then check. I'll give you like 1 second, then I'll start doing it myself. Okay, so now that I know that this is G, I know that my next letter backwards from that would have to be F. So I'm going to put an F in my space right here. So each line and each space fills out. Now if that's F, and going backwards still, I'm going to have my first line be E. Like that. Now going from G up, I'm going from G back to the beginning, right? So that becomes A, then B, then C, then D, then E, and finally F. Now, if you're looking at this, you should notice 2 important things. The first one is that right there in the middle, it spells the word face. Right here. It spells the word face. That's going to be very important to help you remember this. Also, you should notice that there are actually 2 F's and 2 E's. That's because at some point we flip. Now, we've talked about this with Mr. Tolley's voice. My voice is an octave lower than yours. So that F to that F, that's a total of 8 notes. That is an octave apart. They're the same note, but one is a low version and one is a high version. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move my face just a little bit over this way so I can make a new layer. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple things, so give me a second. All right, so now that I have that, what I can do is I can just turn this off so you guys can see my original. But we're going to do a little trick. We're going to figure out a way to remember these different sets, what the letters of the spaces and what the letters of the lines are. So the spaces are the easy one. It's just simply the word face, right? So the sentence you want for that is the face is in the space. The face is in the space. Go ahead and say that. Again, say it with me. The face is in the space. If you can remember that, you can remember that the word face is spelled in there. It starts on the bottom of the staff and goes up to the top of the staff every single time, just like that. So now we got to figure it out for the lines. The lines aren't nice. Igbdf is not a word. So what we're going to do instead is we are going to use a sentence. And what this sentence is going to do is it's going to tell us what those are. So I'm going to start by writing my letters down the side here. E, G, B, D, and F. That's a D, not a P. So those are my letters. So now the next thing I have to do is I have to create a sentence. And the sentence I want you to use, because I think it's the best, is the sentence elephants go bouncing down Freya. Now, what makes this such a delightful sentence for doing this with is that that is a very easy sentence to remember. And I'm going to give you a little kind of imagery to help you remember that. So I'm going to draw you guys a picture that should help you remember this. Now, if you don't know Freya Street is a street up on the South Hill. And it is kind of crazy. It goes straight and then it goes down really fast, then straight and then down and then straight and then down until it finally gets to the bottom. It has this kind of roller coaster effect. Now, I'm going to draw you a kind of an imagery, so I'm going to just draw you an elephant. So give me a second to draw you an elephant. Okay, so I have my elephant. Let's pretend like I just put my elephant, I don't know, in some, let's say, armor. And my elephant starts bouncing up and down and up and down, bouncing elephant. Go ahead and picture this in your head. Now, as my elephant's bouncing, I'm just going to give it a little push. And my elephant is going to bounce down Freya. Boom. Boom. Oh, it's nice and straight. Oh, no, it's going downhill again. Oh, no. It's nice and straight. Oh, good. Oh, no, down the hill. And then it's all the way at the bottom. So that imagery will hopefully help you remember this sentence. So everyone say, elephants go bouncing down Freya. Now hold up your right hands, flip it over with your thumb on top, and go, elephants go bouncing down Freya. Again, elephants go bouncing down Freya, or E, G, B, D, and F. Now, for the spaces, don't forget that it is the face is in the space. The face is in the space. All right. So the last thing that we have to do is we're going to take all that knowledge. I want you to practice it. So we're going to be practicing it with a program called Staff Wars. To get to Staff Wars, you got to log into Clever. I'm going to move my face over here again. And then go into Mr. Tolley's page. And once you click into Mr. Tolley's page, you'll see it right here. Staff Wars, the music game. And it's going to come up. It's going to be all big. It's all very Star Wars. And you're going to click on your treble clef. Remember, treble clef is what you want. And you're going to get a little spaceship. And you're going to see these notes coming across your staff. There's your staff, right? Elephants go bouncing down Freya. The face is in the space. So when I press start, I'm going to see a note coming. Now, I know that that's the second line, so that's a G. So I'm going to type a G on my keyboard. Bam. I'm going to shoot it. There's another G, all and on. And you're just going to go through and you're going to see how well you can do. You'll get these scores that'll come across here and it'll move you across. Let me know what your score was so that I know. Have fun with this. That is your activity for this week. Bye, Stevens Kids. Miss you guys.